God has shown me how to rejoice when I am weak. And it isn't through my strength and my power. It's by pouring out my weakness to him and letting him fill me up with his strength and his life. And he does it over and over and over. So I've been going to chemo for about 8 weeks at this point. Who would have thought chemo could be so much fun? Not me. I can promise you, not me. But somehow, God has made it so much fun. My kids fight over who's going to go with me. I mean, I knew I was loved, but, you know, who wants to go sit with their mom for 4 to 6 hours every week? They do. They do. It's been amazing. And we don't just sit there and, I'm so... We play cards, we laugh, we joke around with the nurses, we joke around with everybody else. And one of the particularly funny things about it is, I am not a drinker. I have never been a drinker. When I do drink, not good things happen. And it doesn't take much for those to start to happen. So I just realized at a very young age, you know, in my teens, don't do that. Well, you know, in chemo, they want to give you stuff so you won't have a reaction to the chemo. And so they give me a lot of Benadryl. And so about 10 minutes in to getting the Benadryl, my speech starts slurring. I superimpose syllables in opposite places that they should be. We're playing cards and all of a sudden I can't see the numbers too good and I'm dropping the cards all over the place. Can't keep the score anymore. And they think it's hilarious. Because look at Mom. She's not uptight. She doesn't care. She's just having a good time and laughing. And that's what happens week after week after week. And then, you know, they're filling you with all these IVs, so you got to get up and walk to the bathroom, and you got this pole. Well, I'll lift to the right. And I step over my feet. So they've got to walk me to the bathroom because I can't get there in my own strength. They think that's hilarious, too. And so the very thing that you would think would be bringing us sadness because of God has brought us great joy. So my kids have a joke going on. They said it took God 50 years to get me loosened up so I could laugh at myself and enjoy who I was without needing to be perfect. So I had been filled with God's love and peace and joy for 8 weeks. I mean, nothing could touch it. I was so happy all the time. Just one thing after another would happen, and it just seemed like I could enjoy the things in life that I couldn't even enjoy before. I appreciated the things. I didn't need them for life, though, and I think that's why I could enjoy them. Because I didn't need them, and I knew I didn't need them, but they were there, so I could enjoy them. So I was focused on the things above and not on the things of this earth. And then I was talking about I get hit hard. My hair started falling out. Have you ever been around a woman wanting her hair to look just right? Have you ever waited for a woman trying to fix her hair? It's a big issue in the heart. And I'm crying. I'm going to God, and I'm going, wait a minute, something's wrong here. I've been having all this joy through chemo, and now I'm in despair because my hair's falling out? I got to talk to God. I got to talk to God. So I said, God, what is wrong? Why is this upsetting me so much? So this is what he said. And like I said, he has a lot to say when we ask him stuff. He said, who would have ever thought chemo could be so much fun? I thought, that's right. And he said, well, have a good time losing your hair too. Throw yourself a party. Throw myself a party. Well, the pastors that Greg and Becky were under in Colorado, he wrote a book, Throw Yourself a Party. And it was his take of be of good cheer during tribulation because God had overcome the world. And that family had a lot of pretty hefty things happen, but they threw parties. So I thought, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw a party. Now, it's amazing the people that get involved. So one of my son-in-laws, he says, you can call it a ceremony instead of a ceremony, a ceremony. And I thought, that's great. So I am going to section my hair off in all these little bits, and I'm going to let each person in my family shave off that section of hair. I didn't invite the guys because I didn't think that they would think that was very much fun. But some of them came anyway and had a blast. They were trying on wigs. You should see my husband as a strawberry blonde with curls down to his face. It was awesome. We had so much fun. So we had a fashion show, and I tried on a whole bunch of different wigs and hair coverings, and they voted on what they liked the best. And then they started trying them all on. We had so much fun. So let me tell you, even though it may not seem like it's possible, I've had a blast through the cancer. And it's because my relationship with God has risen above anything of importance in this world. I don't need the things of this world. And if I temporarily get knocked off my horse, like I did with my hair, I can go to him and he can speak to it like that. And he'll keep speaking until my heart gets healed. I don't want you to forget about the 30 nights that I was crying. I don't want to give a false sense that there are times when there are things in our heart, and while we're saying we're giving them to God, I think we're also holding on with every bit of our strength that we can, not wanting to give it to him. So I think there will be times where there's going to be sadness. And so I don't want to say that that doesn't exist. I want to give a real balance to this message, that yes, there are going to be those times. There will be tribulation. But what I'm saying is God's resurrection power is bigger than any tribulation we will ever face. It will rise above it. It will take us out of despair and bring us into his life of love and joy and peace. It comes to overcome anything that's trying to harm us. So after I had this ceremony, I never felt lack again. I just felt abundance. And it's like, how does that even happen? But you see, I had to have my heart cleansed from the world system, because the world system says there's something wrong if a woman doesn't have hair. And fortunately, God has not had to deal with it, so I guess the Holy Spirit just dealt with it somewhere in the past. But you know, there's scriptures about a woman's hair being her glory. And I mean, I was taught that. And I was in a church that said you shouldn't cut your hair. And somehow all of that was gone. And as soon as I heard, throw yourself a party, the fear left, the shame left, and I was set free. Does hair make a person who they are? No. Does a lack of hair make a person who they are? Do you become a different person because you don't have hair? So why is it that the carnal thinking has such a hard grasp on us to make us believe that. How can a person that's been going through chemo for 8 weeks then go in despair because they're losing their hair? I mean, that doesn't even make sense. But this really doesn't make sense. The fact that having hair or not having hair can have such a big effect on your life that it can somehow change your identity or how you think about yourself or think about how somebody else might think about you. See, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. When I'm immortal, I'm not going to be looking at my hair. I'm going to be gazing into the face of my God, seeing him face to face and saying, this is where life is. I am more free today. I can love myself more today. I can accept who I am more today than I have ever before in my life. And it's because I let that fear come out and God came in and removed it so that it's gone. It's gone. This is real living, and it has nothing to do with this world or the things of this world. It has to do with God's love and his peace and his joy. And the good news is he will get us there. Nobody can get to this place without him. It's only him. Now, some people might say, I got a diagnosis, and it's saying that my body is dying. And like I said, the doctor, I thought he was going to cry and I was going to have to console him. Well, let's think about this in God's perspective. Same thing's true about you.
That's right.
Are you not dying day by day, one day at a time? And as you are dying one day at a time, the outside of you decaying, the inside is being renewed daily. And the end of that journey is the manifestation of immortality, of who you really are, with nothing of this world pulling you down. So we can look at life in two different ways. We can either look at it by the foolishness of this world and think that the things here really do matter, or we can look at it in the foolishness of the gospel that says what matters is who God says you are, that he is your God, you are his child. He has given you a life that's so much better than this world could ever begin to give you. Our lives are constantly bombarded by contradictions. Each contradiction tries to assault us. But I have found over the last few months that it is a golden opportunity to be filled once again with God's wisdom, once again with his perspective, filled again anew with the faith of the Son of God, his perspective, and what the world calls foolishness. And what I found is as I let him do that for me, I get more joyful, I get more peaceful, and I feel more of his love.